Hey, I'm Joel. Thanks for watching The Joy of Fixing. Well, today I thought I was going to use one tool, but I got to use two tools. Pretty excited about that. Check out this video. All right, so we got a quick project today, but I wanted to show you a tip on how to do this easy. We're driving a grounding rod for a sub panel. Now, you can climb a ladder and take your hammer up there, and that's fine if you want to do that, and that's the tools you got, go nuts. But if you have a big hammer drill and you don't know that you're supposed to do this, man, you're supposed to do this. Here, let's take a look at the tool and let's drive this rod. Let's make this a quick video. So like you can see, we got this 8-foot grounding rod right here, nice and long. And that needs to get driven in the ground here. Now, just so you know, I'm not shilling this guy, but I am going to use this VEVOR drill today because this is a great chance to just use its hammer only function. But I got this Bosch. I've used it for years. I like it a lot. One thing I didn't like about this tool though is that there's nowhere that's a grease point for the shaft in here. And I saw as soon as I got this VEVOR one, it's got a big grease cap in it. And I think that's great because I know over the years the grease has leaked out of this, and I am concerned about it getting to a point where I can't maintain it. So I probably have to take it in and have it professionally maintained, which is so stupid for grease. But anyway, I do love this drill. It's never crapped out on me. I've driven a lot of rebar through railroad tie retaining walls and stuff like that. Driven a couple big holes in concrete foundations. I've chipped out a huge hole for a dryer or a radon pump in a basement wall. So this has been used for a lot, and I do like this tool. There's only a few things I don't like about it. So how can you talk crap about a Bosch hammer drill, right? But we're gonna try this out today because I know what to expect out of this, and I wanna see what I can expect out of this one that I'm gonna have around as a backup. So let's check it out. What we're gonna do is, my favorite thing for driving these posts is I just get a chuck fitting for these rotary hammers. I just cut off a socket extension there, and then what we're gonna do is take a socket that fits the size of the grounding rod. We're gonna hammer that down from the top on a ladder. So let me hook it up and let's go. All right, here we go. Got a good amount of weight on that drill. There we go. Just like butter, nice and smooth. Hopefully we don't hit anything hard out here. It looks like we're getting pretty lucky. Well, probably hit a rock, but if you're hitting a rock, there's not much you can do. Even if I put that Bosch on there, I don't think it's coming out. It wants to, but just break through it. All right, now here is a great chance to plug in the Bosch and see what that Bosch does. Go for it. Nope. Nope. Okay, so we just wanted to prove that it wasn't the inferior tool. This is hammering as hard as the Bosch. It's just we've hit a rock, and the outcroppings down here in the woods are so big, we could be hitting something so big we'll never get through it. But we're gonna give it a couple minutes try here. It is actually moving ever so slowly. Yeah, but I mean, you could just be flattening out the tip of the rod too, you know? It's hard to know. So we obviously have hit, it's a rock or possibly a root. I mean, there's a couple trees around here. So what we're gonna do is do what these hammer drills can't do and give it a pretty firm tap. I mean, you can see that thing's just banging on that fitting. And we're just not gonna get anywhere with it until it breaks through whatever's under the ground. So we're gonna get a couple taps with the sledge there and see if it's something small we can break up or if we're just at the bottom of where we can go with this. You watch it. Oh yeah, it's moving. That must be a root. Oh, that's hard. That's a root. You can feel it in there. It feels like wood. Try that hammer drill again. Now that we broke through a certain point, but I think we're just further into that root. All right, let's see if we loosened it up enough to get through that. No, we gotta get through that root. Yep, it's just another. Oh, it's just another root. Once you start getting down, like we're probably at 5.5 feet.
It worked really good on the rebar because that was shorter.
Yeah, it's easy to run the rebar because you're just pinning together walls and you're really only penetrating the ground, say 3 foot max. And that's an easy penetration in all soil types. But you know, we're just out here in Root Town. I know underneath all of this is rock, and I don't think we've hit a rock yet. I'm sure this is wood. You can feel it in the tool and you can feel it in this maul. We're already getting down to the difficult depth. You know, in Colorado, everything was just decomposed granite. You weren't really hitting a lot of rocks, but out here on this hillside in Tennessee, there's just so much rock. I don't know what we're hitting now. It still gives a little. It feels like it's a root, but I mean, you just don't know how big these roots are. Some of these trees, the bigger ones, are 2.5 foot through. I got one down there that's, yeah, it's about 32, 34 inches round. So I mean, you gotta imagine the size of the, at least the larger roots. They're big. So we're already down as far as I want to go, but it'd be nice to sink the whole 8-foot rod. You know, you're just fighting what you can't see. Yep, it's just solid root down there. We've already blown through one, see? Dude, that is so firm. I know it is, it's root.
Come on, man, hit it with your purse.
Whew! Oh. So imagine doing this for all 8 feet on top of a ladder. You're just barely moving. I don't think, hang on real quick. Let's try something else out here. So I just got this because I have a concrete floor to break out of my basement. Just a section for some piping. I feel like we'll just pull this open. Look at that big old chip they sent. I love that they send all these accessories with these VEVOR tools. Look at all the bits they send, and they're actually like quality bits. Just massive braking tips and spades. That's got to be a 3-inch splitting hammer or chipping hammer or whatever you want to call it. I got this big girl. Every single thing I get from this company, they send me all these accessories, and not just me. I mean, this is what you get when you buy it online, is all this extra stuff with them, and it's never junk. It's always decent quality stuff. Every time I use it, I'm expecting it to wear out, and it doesn't wear out any faster than some of the good stuff I buy at Depot or Lowe's. Look at that. Man, I could have used that a couple 100 times. Think of how many weird little trenches we've dug for stuff that would have been so useful for. But here's my theory today. What's that receiver shaft look like? My thought with this is, instead of putting one of these bits in, it obviously has the piston in there that hammers on the fittings once they're up in this receiver. So I need a little more juice because we're trying to break through a root here. And I think that's gonna do it. Got a trigger lock in there if I just want to turn it on and lock it on. Cool. All right, well, I don't really need to tighten anything up on it right now. I just need to plug it in and drive this post. So let's see what we can do. Here we go. That's the VEVOR demolition hammer, 1500 watt right there. Let's do it. Let's see what we got. Get through that tree root. There it goes. Dang, that was a big root. It ain't going any further than that. That gave me another 2 feet though. Look, we're down to almost nothing there. So that's about 7 feet in the ground. Look at me just flatten the top of that thing out. But that is for sure hitting rock at this point, and it ain't going another inch. But I'll tell you what, that jackhammer got another what? That had to be another 2.5 feet in the ground. So I think all in all, hammer drill, especially if you're somewhere like Colorado or something like that where you got a lot of decomposed granite, it'll just whiff right through. I've driven so many of these with that Bosch hammer, no problem, and I'm confident this one does just as good. But what we obviously did was we hit a root there, popped through it just a little bit with that sled, and then the hammer drill just kept on going until we hit whatever big root we finally landed in there. We tapped on it a little bit with the old sledgehammer, and we finally decided, let's get that jackhammer. And boy, that jackhammer just blasted through whatever was there for that root. You know, now we're bottomed out in some rock. So that grounding rod was just a little over 8 foot, or exactly 8 foot, right in there. And we got about a foot, maybe a foot and an inch sticking out of the ground. That's where we're gonna leave her. Pretty good. Glad I had them both. This tool's been good. So far as good as my Bosch, but I've used my Bosch for years and I haven't used this that much. So, but I like it. It sure has worked good, and I like that it has things like variable speed when I'm gonna be doing certain drilling and chipping. I like all the features that came with it. I've got more bits with this than the bits that I've bought over the years for those Bosch tools. This jackhammer kind of just saved the day here, or we might have been beating on it. Well, we tried beating on it with the sledge for quite a while, and we just bottomed out in that root. And I want to say that whatever we're hitting down there had to be 2 feet thick, and this pushed right through it. So unconventional way to use the demolition hammer, the jackhammer for sure, but that worked great. We got about a foot of rod sticking out here, and that's it. So we're going to tie this thing into the electrical system and be done. But I just wanted to show you, sometimes you want to let the tools do the work for you, because we could have been out here all day with a sledge, and I've seen guys do it. I've seen 3 guys taking turns on ladders, holding poles and swinging hammers for like 2 hours on a grounding rod, and it is just dumb. So if you're trying to drive a grounding rod, get out your tools, give it a try, save your back, save your hands. I want to make another point over this VEVOR stuff, that I'm shocked at how they send this stuff ready to use out of the box. You got different sized bits, huge long bits. You got the shovel, you got the breaker tip. But they also send you like this oiling bottle for the tool with the oiling tip to get into the small ports. Send you the wrenches, every Allen wrench you need. But beyond that, they're sending you like concrete gloves so your hands don't dry out from all the concrete powder. They're sending you protective glasses. They're sending you an N95 mask. Like, every time I get a tool from these guys, it's just extra stuff. Extra stuff right in the box that you're always going to get with this company. Same with this rotary hammer, like I showed earlier. It comes with the chipping hammer, the spade, the depth finder, all of these different drills for sinking anchors and redheads and tapcons, extra brushes. This came with extra brushes, I think. You know, it comes with the lubricant. I mean, they're sending you everything you need to use the tool out of the box, and I think that's awesome. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll have more content coming out pretty soon. I'll leave some links in the end of the video to some of the other projects we've been working on. And you know, if this was helpful, feel free to like the video. Make a comment. If you got other ideas, I'm sure a lot of you have done this. I'd love to hear how you do it and any other tools you've found that you like for driving a grounding rod and things like this. Also, other creative ways that you've used hammer drills or demolition hammers to do other types of work that isn't their mainstream function. I'd appreciate if you subscribe to the channel, because we're trying to put out a lot of content, but the content's a lot more fun when there's more people watching and more people being part of the conversation. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Have a great day. God bless.